What it do, Naysayer Nation? We are back once again with the Aftershow Podcast. 2 weeks in a row. We did it. No crippling back pain for anyone this time.
No, I'm getting there. I pulled off a 4-hour stream today, so
hey, there we go. And great time for everyone to be here. We might, full disclosure, have a special guest at some point. Just a heads up, so it's not a total jump scare, but we had to make sure we were here because we got to talk about Superman. Me and Jay, of course, both saw it this week, and we have lots of thoughts. As tradition, we're not going to do a spoiler deep dive. You know, we usually save that for the week after, since it's still opening weekend. We want to give everybody plenty of time to see the movie themselves. So we're just going to do a spoiler discussion next week, but we will still talk about the movie without going into anything too crazy. And of course, we'll also talk a little Marvel Rivals Season 3 and anything else happening in the general world. How you doing, chat? Who we got here? Who's first? Geo. Shout out to Geo. What's up, Eastwood?
The most toxically positive person I know.
Absolutely, and that's saying something. What's up? What's up, Super Patrick? What's up, Marvel? What's up, Gabe? How you doing? Do spoilers? You've seen it. You're selfish. Well, it's not like we have like 10,000 people in here. So as long as everyone has seen the movie, but usually there's just like a few people who haven't. So we want to make sure. Got some tickets for the movie. You'll see it this coming weekend. Yeah. So there we go. So we'll do it next Sunday, and we'll still talk about the movie. We're just going to avoid the spoilers until next week, as is usual tradition. Because we are not selfish. We're looking out for the people. We want everyone to enjoy this movie because, spoiler alert, we love the movie.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that we're like just on point completely with some of these movies. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, obviously, Jay rated higher because he's more of a shill. But
listen, I gotta protect WB at all costs. This movie is. I'm rooting for Gabe right now. Okay, I'm rooting for $2 billion.
I honestly, it would be well deserved. So we do have. I guess we'll just jump right into some Superman talk. I mean, might as well. That is the talk of the town. I don't know if it'll hit $1 billion, but it is official. Superman, big opening weekend. Over $200 million worldwide in its debut, making it officially one of the biggest openings for 2025. Not Minecraft level, or I believe Lilo and Stitch. Also,
I think it actually beat both of them by a smidge in the previews.
Yeah, it had the highest preview of 2025 for sure. It was the best preview performance of 2025 and the best of James Gunn's entire career. But full over the course of the whole weekend, ended up going over the 200 million mark. So didn't hit the 300 million like Lilo and Minecraft did, but still very very successful opening weekend for Superman, and very well deserved. And I'm looking for it. I don't think it'll hit 2 billion, but
no, I know.
I think $1 billion is definitely potentially on the table. I mean, not only did it just have a strong opening weekend, but the word of mouth is immaculate. I mean,
dude, that was an atrocious bet from the start, and it hurts me that Travis is basically stealing money from Gabe. It's
I mean, I have to say skill issue for going 2 billion.
Yeah, I mean, even I'm not going with that full shill.
Yeah,
but
that's some shilling.
It deserves 2 billion. I'll say that.
Yep. So currently sitting at 82% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and the much more important audience score is sitting at 93%. Now that more people have gotten to see it, it's at now 10,000 plus verified ratings. Debuted at 96% audience score. So after 10,000 plus ratings, more people got to see it. We're at a very, very good 93%. So strong opening box office and strong critic and audience scores. So the movie should have strong word of mouth to help it continue the momentum instead of having that, typical giant drop off you see with a lot of the slop, especially in the superhero genre.
Yeah, 93 is basically what I gave it. I go out of 10, so I went 9.3. Obviously there's some things they could have done different, but what I really appreciate about it is the fact that, like, and James Gunn said he was not going to do this, and there's no origin story. He's like, who Superman is. It basically started off with, he's been Superman for 3 years. He's still figuring things out. All right, it's a Thursday for Superman,
Yeah. Now I will say I heard this. I was watching John Campia's show, and they were doing their review. They loved it too, but they mentioned that, and this is something I agree with. This is one of the rare occasions where I left the movie and thought it was too short.
Yeah.
A little bit, because I wanted more of it, and I think it more so showed, not just because the pacing was so snappy and it was really good, but it also felt like more stuff could have been fleshed out, and it seems like maybe they were conscious of the runtime. They didn't want to overstay their welcome, and they kind of just cut it shorter just to be on the safe side. Because I heard that there was, at one point in the beginning, they were going to have like a little montage of like a week in the life of Superman before the thing that happened to start the movie, which I thought would have been, now that I know that existed, I think they should have left that in. I don't think it would have taken that much time, and having that, and I think having that context, rather than just explaining, who Superman was with like text on the screen as exposition.
Yeah.
I think as a general rule, it's always better to show rather than to tell.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's because, like, I don't know how to get rid of that.
I hate kick.
I think that's on your end, but
yeah
I'll say this. I did not like the trailers. I was always worried the trailers were going to give away too much.
Yeah.
And like, basically it starts with the trailer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I mean, they released like 20 minutes of it. And that 20 minutes was literally the first 20 minutes of the actual movie.
Yeah. So I just can't, like, David Cornsweet is my Superman now and forever. Like, I loved Henry Cavill, don't get me wrong, but like, everything about, like, he's the perfect Superman. He's the perfect Clark Kent. Like, he nailed it. They like nailed the casting on everything. That wasn't really a spoiler, that it starts with what you see in the trailer, So, but yeah, man. Oh, well, I'll hold my thought.
Speaking of jump scare, I thought I smelled deep dish. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who helped us start it all, one of the founding members of the Aftershow Podcast, has returned along with Superman triumphantly, the great Casual Avenger.
What's up, man? I hope the audio and everything cool.
Yeah, you sound good.
Audio is missing one thing.
Okay. Jay, you can finish your thoughts. I was listening as I was getting set up and everything.
Yeah, I was just getting into the fact I actually don't remember what I was saying. So.
He's old.
Yeah.
He's old. What Jay was saying was that
he was so good at
He was
Clark
so good.
and Superman. Yeah,
She's absolutely just glazing corn sweat,
like
and I
the
agree.
casting in general is amazing. Like I loved Arrow's Mr. Terrific, but Eli, it's Eli. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I don't know how to pronounce it either, but he's great. He played.
He was phenomenal.
He's a great actor. Like he was in this. He was obviously he was Darwin and X-Men, which
X-Men,
they absolutely wasted his talents there. But he was in this other show. I think Startup is what it was. Is what it was called. He was one of the stars of that show. He was absolutely phenomenal. Like that's the show where I really like took notice of him as an actor. And when I saw that he was cast as Mr. Terrific, I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." That's perfect.
There are very few things I disliked about it. I thought Lex was good. He's not, Michael Rosenbaum, but
I mean, who is?
I think like there are some people I think that were confused about the fact that like, all right, he's been Superman for 3 years and he's been studying his every move, and like he's basically been able to. It's almost a taskmaster.
Spoiler.
Oh, I guess is that? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Spoiler. Yeah, guess what? Yeah. I will say, like, yeah, there's I think there's somewhat of a valid complaint about Superman getting beat up a lot, but I feel like some people are basing it off the trailer, the trailers and screenshots, and they're kind of taking advantage of people who haven't seen it yet, because in context, the when you actually watch the whole movie, the idea that Superman is just this weak guy who always gets thrown around is actually not true at all. And like within the first like hour, I was like, okay, they were just lying. because when you see, because in the first trailer you see, oh, he's getting his ass kicked, you're like, oh, what's going on? He's thought to be Superman. When you figure out why, you're like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like it's not just because like he's just random guy who he's just always getting thrown around by random grunts. Like, no, Superman is legitimately extremely powerful in this world, and he's very powerful in the movie. I will say that I think part of the reason I think it could have used that day in the life montage is that I think it needed at least one more scene, I think, kind of showcasing where Superman, how powerful Superman is as a baseline before going into the fall. I think it was better to set that up. Would have been, again, better to show rather than tell, and it would have been better just to see kind of a week in the life of Superman, being super, doing everything, and then lead to the fall. Like I think incorporating that with the text would have been much better than just saying, "Oh, this is Superman. This is the lead up," and then going right into it. But otherwise, I thought they handled it well, because the one thing you don't want with a Superman movie, with any really movie with a really strong hero, is running into an issue where they're too powerful, and to the point where there's like, it ruins kind of the drama.
Yeah.
Like, and you have to kind of write around it. Like the Justice, like Snyder's Justice League, they had, once they revived Superman, they had to write around the fact that Superman was just so hilariously stronger than everybody else, that if he had as soon as he appeared, the drama was kind of just over. because like Steppenwolf was like built up as this big bad, and then once Superman came on, it's like, oh no, he's just a bitch. It doesn't matter. So I was curious to see how James Gunn handled it. It felt like he kind of went a little closer to the My Adventures with Superman route. Just made him stronger than in that interpretation, but made it so that, okay, he's not invincible. He does need some help every once in a while. He's not and he's new at this. And I thought overall he did a good job in that aspect.
Yeah,
I would agree. To counter some of what you said, like in terms of him, I agree to a certain extent that a scene with him just kind of showcasing that definitive Superman strength and confidence, like nothing is even phasing me, would have been a great addition to the movie. But in the movie that we also got, I feel like they do kind of show off some pretty impressive feats for him, especially when he was weakened by kryptonite. So pulling off the feats that he was doing while weakened by kryptonite, I feel like they with that in context, it's like that was pretty impressive. Him getting out of that situation and stuff.
That's why I didn't harp too much on it, because I thought he did have some moments where he got to show off like some really impressive feats. But I thought the one thing it was missing was a really good fly swatter scene. Like I feel like a fly swatter scene is kind of critical in action movies and series and shows, because we have it. Mr. Terrific got one. It was one of the best scenes in any comic book movie I've seen. But that right there is a classic fly swatter scene. You demonstrate that the to demonstrate the power. You show them like kind of flexing on some formidable foes that you would expect them to potentially struggle with, and it feels like Superman needed one of those where he's just like all right, just handles somebody that you think is really tough. I thought he just needed one more of those, and it would have been perfect. But overall, I'm not like crying about the power scaling. I thought he was plenty powerful in the movie. I just think he just needed one more scene.
Yeah, I think what you just described was very intentional on James Gunn's part, because as the movie is, it's a solid baseline for what Superman is supposed to be for the most part, and it also gives you plenty of room to go up from here. So it's like it's only up from here. So in the next movie and whatever spinoffs and things like that, Superman, he has plenty of time to be showcased as what people are more familiar with him as being. But in this movie, essentially, I think the idea was trusting the audience that Superman has been around over 80 years. We know who Superman is. We know how he got here. We know what he's supposed to be. But you also just saw a very different version of Superman in the past year. So we want to establish that we're getting back to what Superman at his core is supposed to be. And those moments that you were just describing where, you're fly swatting people away, let's use those moments to let some of these newer characters, get a chance to shine. Because most people went into this movie not knowing who Mr. Terrific is and being unfamiliar with Guy Gardner specifically as the Green Lantern. Comic book fans know he is. That's my favorite Green Lantern. But general audiences is like, who is this dude with the bowl cut? And now, when you see him flicking people off with the ring and, all of this other stuff, it's like, okay, I'm interested in seeing what more we have from this guy in the future, because again, we know who Superman is. We know, Superman is when the real bigger threats come, like Lex Luthor isn't the biggest threat facing, the universe or Earth or anything like that. So again, we only have up to go from here. But for a baseline reintroduction to our version of this character, which is the character everybody knows and love, while throwing in a couple more characters to introduce people to, just to expand the universe with throwing Crypto the dog in there and, all this other stuff. It's like, I feel like it was a pretty solid, gateway into the new DCU that they're building on. But I don't want to dismiss people's, complaints of like, oh, well, we felt like we kind of got thrown into the middle of a sequel or something like that instead of an introduction to it. But those same people are also outlining that they know exactly what the introduction, like what you're asking to see, you already know what it is. So you like, I don't know why we're so hard focus on seeing, him come to Earth or him being raised or spending
that
time on Krypton and stuff. It's
that part is
necessary.
Yeah, that part is unnecessary, and they did have moments from his childhood and anything like that. That's why I thought that. That's why I thought that like that opening montage would have been like perfect because he's not going full Henry Cavill on Steppenwolf, but at the same time you're like it's like a cool introduction to this version of Superman rather than just sitting for 30 seconds reading on the screen all the things Superman is done and who he is. Yeah, I think whenever possible, it's better to have visual representations of your exposition rather than just having a text dump. I just thought I just thought like, oh, when I heard about that as something that they cut, I was like, yeah, that just sounds infinitely better than like a text scroll. Like,
yeah, they could have easily thrown another 10-15 minutes on there. Release the Gunn cut.
Yeah, release it and that didn't need to be 10. It could have been legitimately like a 1 to 2 minute 1 to 2 minute montage of him like saving, rescuing a cat out of the tree, stopping a runaway train, just like a day, like a week in the life of just doing stuff as Superman, stopping a bank robbery with like zero, stuff like that's how you could establish the fly swatter stuff and like the baseline, and then still go into everything else you went into and I think that would have been much more entertaining to look at, and I think would have also removed a lot of those good faith complaints about him getting thrown around a lot by just starting it off with his baseline and then bringing him down and then telling it right like it is. I feel like that's just been perfect.
Yeah, I feel like Spider-Man Homecoming would be a great comparison for that because they skipped out on doing the origin story stuff while also reintroducing their version of Spider-Man in their universe and letting you get some time to spend with him as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man while also getting to see him grow as a character within that specific story.
And they effectively did the same thing Gunn did with the exposition, except they did it the way I was suggesting, where instead of just a text scroll telling you this is Peter, this is Spider-Man, this is what he's doing, they kind of just gave you this cool montage from his perspective, someone filming, like they just showed the montage of him filming his adventures into Civil War as a way to introduce us to the character, without retelling, oh, he got bit by a spider and Uncle Ben, like they gave you an introduction to the Spider-Man character without giving you the same boring introduction to the Spider-Man character, tied it into a previous movie. And the way they did that, with him essentially vlogging his journey and telling us that journey through vlogging. If they had just replaced that with scroll text on the screen saying Spider-Man was he's a kid from New York who got bit by a spider and he's helped save people and he was recruited by Tony, like if I had to read that instead of seeing it in blog form, like that would have been way worse. So that's why that's the only thing I was hoping for with the Superman. And but in general, the only other thing I didn't like was James Gunn's James Gunning. He did a couple Gunnisms, which I was expecting. Like I thought he generally did a very good job of keeping it in check, but there was a little bit of a gunning. There were a couple of moments where I was like, yeah, he just had to go for the fucking joke.
I was going to ask you guys, about what criticisms do you have, because it's quite clear we're all pretty positive on the movie.
That's right.
But it's not a perfect movie. So what criticisms would you have, Jay?
My main criticism is Alien not paying for a ticket to see this.
Honestly, I think the way they handled Lex was fine. I just feel like I kind of wish that it was a little different. It felt like Pacific Rim. You know what I mean? Like where you had the pilots in the mechs,
Yeah,
and they were controlled. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong movie, but
that's what you're. That's
specific.
right.
I mean, that's Pacific Rim. That's specific.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of things. That's just any mech anime too.
Yeah, it worked and it was fine. I mean, obviously, the two villains that you see are not who you would be first on my list of villains I would want to see Superman fight. I will say, like, it was said that one of them was Ultraman, like, before. And I was trying to figure out how that was going to work. And I think they explained it well enough for me. Like, it didn't have to be like Earth 2. It worked. And I just, the only real complaint I had was like I already praised it for this exact reason, but like, why did Lex hate Superman so much already? I don't think they gave that early enough, if that makes sense. They get there, but they did. There was that one scene where they did a phenomenal job of making him a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like, so there was that. But I will say this though. There are two cameos in the movie, and I'm not gonna say either one of them. One of them is in the middle, and it was phenomenal. And one of them was at the very end, and when they cast that person as that character, I didn't see it. But then when I saw it, I got it. If that makes
sense. Say me exactly. That was me exactly.
Yeah, because I was not on board with her casting at first. Oh shit. I was trying to keep it gender neutral. I was not in favor of that casting at first, but when I saw it, it's perfect. And I will not question anything that James Gunn casts again, because I think the casting in this movie is just phenomenal. Like, even all the nerds working for Lex, like, they all worked.
Yeah. The one thing you can't knock James Gunn for is his casting. Like, too many times people have doubted James Gunn's casting. At this point, I just never doubt. After Guardians of the Galaxy, I never questioned James Gunn's casting decisions after that.
I mean, when they reveal whoever, the next Batman is going to be, the world is going to turn on his head. I mean, as we always do for every Batman cast.
Literally every time. Every single one. And usually it's everyone looks stupid afterwards for Dottie. Like, especially when stuff you can see coming. Like, I feel like the only casting people shit on that they got right was Clooney. Like other than that, it's like literally they were wrong every fucking time. Like the Robert Pattinson one was like kind of the easiest. Like, that was just like the easiest W for me. Like, because if you knew anything about this actor, you knew this was like a fire casting. But the people who only knew him from Twilight were just like, oh, how can you cast him? Like, no, like it was such. I as someone who actually paid attention to Robert Pattinson and like respects him as an actor, as soon as they cast him as Batman, I was like, yep, you got it.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I can see a way that they can have that Batman in the same universe. Like, the movies are filmed differently. And Batman obviously is always going to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
But I'm fine if those two universes merge. And I'm fine if they decide to just do it separate and have like an alternate universe, the Batman series.
Honestly, I would have rather it just be an Elseworld, because after seeing because now that we saw Superman, we get the vibe of what James Gunn wants his DCU to look like. And now I get why he wouldn't necessarily want to bring Robert Pattinson over, even though Pattinson is a very good Batman. The Batman is a fundamentally different universe.
Sure.
Like,
no, and I get that.
And I like how they did that. I love what Matt Reeves is doing over there. I think that should be allowed to be its own thing. But after seeing DC his take on Superman and how he used to handle in DC, yeah, I definitely think like Brave and the Bold is going to be potentially very, very interesting, because I do think it needs a new Batman to match the tone, the vibe, the power of it, because it's such a comic book movie. Like, this was the most comic book movie that's ever been comic booked. Like,
I'll tell you what, a bunch of WWE wrestlers are trying to line up for some roles.
I don't blame him.
Randy Orton tweeted that he wanted to be Batman, and then Kofi Kingston said he would shave his head. He's always had like long dreads. He would shave his head to be Hugo Strange. So,
I like it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot more DC fans out there. I'm loving all the love for Mr. Terrific out there.
Yeah, so good. Like and again, we all watched Arrow. We loved like that version of Mr. Terrific, and that version.
I didn't love that version. I thought he was a little too much of a dweeb.
Okay, this one is not. I mean, he is, but he isn't. This one's very.
Yeah, he's a very smart giga, but he's also like a giga chat, like for sure, for sure. Like the CW Mr. Terrific was very CW. He was a little too CW for my taste. But I thought they almost nailed Mr. Terrific. I told Jay this after I got back from the movie. The one thing I didn't like about James Gunn's Mr. Terrific is his dialogue. I thought overall he did a phenomenal job of introducing people to the character. I thought he was the second best part of the entire movie. He was fantastic. He stole most of the scenes he was in, but some of his dialogue was just so cringe. Like I told Jay, I thought he was going to say "booyah" at some point. It kind of felt like James Gunn was watching Luke Cage and was like, I need to make him like a smart Luke Cage, and it felt like he was searching for his own Sweet Christmas, and it didn't work.
It felt like exactly what everybody wanted Cyborg to be.
Yeah, serious, but also kind of, but the lingo just didn't land. Like, I feel like James Gunn needed to tap in with somebody else for some of that dialogue, and I think that also gets into the Lex Luthor thing, because I thought Holt, as a pure actor, I think Nicholas Holt is better than Michael Rosenbaum. I will say that, as a pure actor, but I thought Michael Rosenbaum. The reason why I thought Michael Rosenbaum was my favorite is because I thought he had a better temperament, like on Lex Luthor. I like that Michael Rosenbaum had more restraint when he with the way he played the character. Like, Lex in both the Smallville and in James Gunn, obviously Lex does some over the top, villainy, but it felt like Rosenbaum played Lex a little cooler, a little more in control, whereas Holt went like unhinged at some point. And I think and I don't think it quite worked for me in some instances, but I think that was more because of the writing than anything. There was definitely some moments where it was like, oh, this feels like a comic book in a good way, and it feels like a comic book in a bad way, because like there was a couple of scenes where I thought Lex was a little cheesy, like it was a little too mustache twirly for my taste with with some of his dialogue, and it did come off a little campy in some areas. But I thought Holt in general was just acting his ass off, like he was doing the best he could with the material. I just thought that the script at a couple areas kind of failed him a little bit, especially at the end where I felt like they were having like a really there was like a really intense moment that I thought, oh, this is actually really good, And then I was like, oh, I'm wondering, what they're going to how Superman's going to respond. Oh, they're doing a joke. Okay, and there was a couple. That was my main issues. Like some of Mr. Terrific's dialogue was cringe. Some of the writing for Lex was a little too hammy, a little too on the nose. And I thought there were a few times where James Gunn went for the bit when it didn't need it, and it kind of ruined some potentially good moments. But overall, I didn't think he let it run too wild. I thought he did a good job, but there were definitely a couple key moments where I felt like if he hadn't gone for the joke, they would have landed a lot better.
Yeah. One of the funny things is I when I was going through IMDb, just to like make sure I was saying people's names right and everything, Michael Rosenbaum got a stormtrooper treatment. He's actually in the movie as like one of the Raptors.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice Bradley Cooper was in the movie. Like I literally watched that whole scene, and then when I saw that, I was like, oh. I literally thought it was just some foreign guy that got for the role. He did
a who's who of like people he usually uses as background characters. Like Palm Mantis was a voice, and there's Michael Rooker was a voice. He used everybody.
Obviously he used his brother, who's Maxwell Lord.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. I don't know if I bought that one though. Yeah,
I mean, say what you will about Pedro Pascal, but I liked his Maxwell Lord.
Maxwell Lord's a pretty serious character, and Sean Gunn. Yeah, whatever though. It's fine. If that's all we ever see of Maxwell Lord, it's fine. Whatever.
We're going to see more of him. He's in Peacemaker.
Oh, okay, interesting. I haven't followed along with what they're doing with that.
In the season 2 trailer. In the season 2 Peacemaker trailer, they actually showed that he's trying. I think he's trying to audition, and there's for the team, and there's Maxwell Lord, Guy Gardner, and Hawk Girl, and they're just like auditioning Peacemaker, and obviously they reject him.
Hawk Girl, I think they did. I like the casting. She was really good in The Last of Us. And even my wife picked up on it. Like she saw her and she's like, "That's the girl in The Last of Us." And but the Scream, I think they did it a little bit too much. I know it's something she does, but yeah, she didn't get her Mr. Terrific time or even Guy Gardner time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
She was the least
one of my criticisms.
She was the least cool of the three for sure.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, it wasn't her movie. It wasn't any other movies, but this definitely sets up Guy Gardner to go do Lanterns, and I'm very interested to see where we go from here.
Yeah, my only real criticisms, outside of a few narrative issues here and there, Hawk Girl and Metamorpho. Everything else for the most part I feel like worked. Like I really liked Superman, like this version of Superman. Like most of my positive feelings on the film in general, because overall, like it's not a mind-blowing movie or anything like that in general, but he was so good in the role. Like he's so well written, and he plays the role straight and vulnerable for the most part. And the same for Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. I feel like those two polarizing performances really pull you in as an audience. But as far as the narrative, issues surrounding, those two characters specifically, it's like I feel like you trusted the audience a little too much. So it's like I know what Metamorpho is. I know how he works from like Justice League Unlimited and stuff like that. But as far as the context of this movie, I don't quite know why he's here and how he got here. And then once the story progresses, he's just showing up in different places, and we don't really get a reason as to why he's here and in these places and stuff. So it's like tighten up the script a little bit in certain areas, but I think that's another
a casualty of the cutting room floor. I think if they release the Gunn cut, we see a lot. We see a lot more of these side characters like fleshed out. It definitely feels like they just want to streamline this.
I don't think they really. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I don't really think they need to flesh that out. He was there because he needed to be, and yeah, like you don't even have to know who he is to just understand what his power set is, because Lex establishes that. He shows why he's doing it, and it's just one of those things where I get what sure they could have shown him bringing him in, but like it seemed like there were a lot of different people there, and I'm sure if we get an opportunity to freeze frame it, we'll probably see some, there's some people there that we didn't know about that were hiding in plain sight. But he served his part, and I didn't particularly love that part, but you had to get that aspect in there somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I get what you're saying, but I didn't think it was 100% necessary. I look at it from the perspective of my wife, who goes to this movie and does not know any of these people, and she understood what was going on, and so I felt like that was kind of good enough.
Yeah, so like without going into spoilers, just because you both have seen the movie, think about where you meet Metamorpho in the movie, and once he's out of that location, the next location you see him in, and it's like, how? Like, what is this? Like, what's happening here? And then from that location, he just pops up in a completely different location with a different group of characters, again with no real context to it. So it's like, as somebody completely in the dark, that would be baffling.
From my recollection, I didn't think it was too much of an issue, because like they showed him whip, and then what we saw him run away after we saw he saw him go away, then we saw him again, and then him appear in the climax. I mean, it made sense. It made sense to me, given the I will say technology abilities that are available. To me, it made sense that he showed up where he showed up. I think so much. Yeah, I didn't love or hate Metamorph. I thought he was fine. I thought he had some cool moments. I thought it was fine. It definitely he definitely felt like at first like a plot device.
Yeah.
But I thought for a plot device, Gunn did a pretty good job of making him like an actual character that you potentially want to see more of later on down the line. And he did mention, I think they mentioned after the fact, that they're going to be exploring different spin-off opportunities for some of the different characters. Mr. Terrific obviously is going to be at the top of a lot of people's lists. Jimmy Oates, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific, obviously big winners out of this, besides the obvious Superman. But their Jimmy Olsen interpretation was so fucking good. Like it was, like that. That's what I meant when. That's why I meant when the aspect I meant when I said it was such a great comic book movie, because I feel like most people don't really think much or understand much about Jimmy Olsen. They just think he's like a sidekick for Superman who just takes photos. The fact that they did what they did with Jimmy Olsen, and like made him like important to the movie as well, was you could definitely tell this is someone who really loves Superman comics and like really understands them. Like there's so many things they could have done to change Jimmy Olsen, and I just love the fact that they made him not only comic accurate, but just such a fun character. Like in My Adventures with Superman, Jimmy Olsen is just like complete. That's not even Jimmy Olsen. This is like a completely different person, like a completely separate character. Nothing like Jimmy Olsen in any way, shape, or form. It's not even just a race swap. Like he has nothing in common with Jimmy Olsen. That's not Jimmy Olsen. Other than that, him and Clark are friends. But James Gunn, it felt like they legitimately just understood Jimmy Olsen, and he did it, and he did it in such a cool way.
Yeah, and Rachel Brosnahan, we haven't even given her flowers. I
I mean, that was
phenomenal Lois.
I mean, that was obvious to me from the first casting. I was like, oh well, that's obviously she's going to be the best Lois we've ever seen because I knew before she was cast, I knew her from Mrs. Maisel, which is one of my favorite shows of the last 10 years, and the whole time I was watching Mrs. Maisel, I was like, man, if they do a new Superman movie, I would love for her to be Lois Lane because it feels like she was born to play this role.
Yeah.
And then when I heard James Gunn cast, I was like, fuck yes, he got it.
Yeah.
James Gunn knows the ball. He knows the ball.
Yeah. I honestly it's probably my favorite DC movie by far, you know? Like, I mean, it's there with the Batman. I love the Batman,
I think it might actually be my favorite because I was thinking about it, and obviously it's better. I think it's better than everything in the DCEU.
Oh,
yeah. Snyder fans are punching air right now, but it just is what it is.
I love that for them.
Yeah, but and I was thinking like because the only other DC movies I really love are like Batman movies, and looking back on them, it's like okay, I think the Batman is like has aspects of it that's better, like it's cinema, like it is like the music, the directing, the cinematography is all great, but I definitely enjoyed Superman, I think, more than the Batman, and I think it was overall more cohesive, especially since I feel like the Batman overstayed his welcome with the ending. I thought the Batman should have ended at the interrogation room. Like I think that whole extra part kind of just fuck up the movie, but then I have to go back to the Dark Knight to find another potential favorite, and the Dark Knight, apart from the Heath Ledger scenes, doesn't age that well.
Yeah.
Like because I've watched it a lot, and after going back to it, I was like, ugh, the Batman sections of this movie are dog water. Like it's so bad. It's so bad. Bale might be the worst Batman besides Adam West. He's a great Bruce Wayne. He is a terrible Batman.
Yeah.
that movie did not age well apart from Heath Ledger's Joker. So I'd say right now, Superman is definitely my favorite live action DC movie.
So I'll ask you both this, given again how high we all are off of the latest, Superman movie. Are you more excited for, the next few installments of DCU movies, or are you more excited for what's coming next in the MCU? So like Doomsday, Spider-Man Brand New Day, things like that. Are you more, because I'm honestly more interested in seeing who they cast as like Batman in this universe, the Flash in this universe, because the Flash, I feel like that has the potential to be even better and more fun than what they did with this Superman. So it's like I'm honestly more excited seeing where we go from here than like, not that I'm not excited to see what they got in the pipeline for the MCU, but I feel like we finally reached a place where the future is a lot brighter for the DCU right now.
Oh, for sure. I'll tell you the way I look at it. I don't look at it as Marvel versus DC.
Oh yeah, just to say the Matt Reeves script is done. Like he actually did turn.
Yeah, he got that in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying I don't really usually look at it that way because, like, to me, I just look forward to what's next. It doesn't matter if it's Marvel or DC. I will say that this is like the highest I've been for DC ever. Like I have like hope. That like because it used to be all right, we're gonna get Black Adam, okay.
Oof.
We're gonna get the Flash. Really? Okay. Oof. But now it's like, okay, we're gonna get Supergirl, and I'm really excited for that now. And I was not before. I can tell you that. I like, why are we going right to Supergirl? And now I'm like, bring me Supergirl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel you. Like especially a Supergirl for no reason in particular. Actually, I have an excuse because I started reading A Woman of Tomorrow a while ago, and like after the casting, after they announced Woman of Tomorrow was going to be one of the slates, I started reading the comic. I was like, okay, I get it. It's actually really good. But I'd say I'm definitely more excited for the future of DC. I don't know, like Marvel has definitely fallen off for sure. I do think I did enjoy Thunderbolts. I do think Fantastic Four will probably be good. I'm sure Spider-Man Brand New Day will be good. I'm sure the Avengers movies are going to be just packed to the brim with nostalgia bait, and it's going to be fine. But I'm legitimately much more interested in seeing how the DCU develops because it feels fresh. Like it's legitimately now it's fresh, something new. It's giving. This is definitely giving Iron Man 1. You know, when that first dropped, like it was like, you know, a nuke went off across fandoms, and people were like, oh, this is what's possible with a superhero movie. Like it feels like a shot in the arm for the superhero genre, and now I'm much more excited to see where it goes. I'm looking forward to Lanterns. I'm looking forward to Woman of Tomorrow. I mean, I still think Themyscira is going to be dog shit, but
yeah, that's the only one that I'm like, why are we going there? I'm not like,
but who knows? We'll see. But I'm definitely excited for the future of the DCU, and I feel like they definitely got to hurry up and now announce the Superman game.
well, I'll get into that in 1 second, but without doing anything spoilery, to address what Divine said, I think that is open to interpretation. You have to consider the source, and I don't think that's legitimately what was said. So we'll leave it at that. But speaking of a Superman game, today, I think like 2 days ago, they introduced something in Fortnite.
Yeah,
his mythic, and oh boy, I used to think that I don't know if a Superman game would be that interesting. I take all of that back because I got to be Superman today. Thank you to Geo, because Geo is very, very clear that everybody in our group do not take it. Let Jay take it. Like, but yeah, you get to flying around as Superman and using his laser vision and being able to punch everything. Like, there's one house in particular that there's these gloves you get in the game that they shoot music basically, but it breaks things. I always try to destroy that entire house because I just like destroying everything. And I sat there with Superman like the whole time, just like laser visioning it and punching it and like trying to get the whole thing gone. It could work for sure. The flight was perfect. Even like when you use the Superman character himself, like if you're using the battle pass skin, he like flies with one arm charged ahead. Like it feels real good.
I gotta try it. I did watch gameplay of it, but I definitely want to try it. I definitely lost a little interest when I saw that all the crazy restrictions on it, but I was like, understandable because it is pretty OP. But
it's kind of like what they did when they had Thanos the first time, and Godzilla. Only one person is gonna be able to claim it.
Yeah,
and
Jay honestly should be ashamed of himself for not believing in the Superman game, but as long as he came around.
I just like the Flash and Superman are two characters that I think are just hard in some ways to do a game for, because like a lot of their like move set and power set is going to be based on going really, really fast. You know what I mean? So I do see how there can be challenges there. But I see it a little bit less with Superman now.
Yeah, I mean, I never saw the challenges. Like one of my favorite games from the 360 area was Superman Returns. I had hours and hours of fun on that game, even just flying around Metropolis, breaking the sound barrier. I found we didn't get that many other chances at it, but occasionally games will have a little bit of give you a little bit of taste, like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. was a pretty good power fantasy. Obviously, Undefeated was a really fun indie game that basically allowed you to be a Superman and a Flash. Like there's a little upgrade added that lets you do the super speed, and I just felt that like DC was fumbling by not having another modern Superman game because contrary to what some people believe, it's actually not that hard. I mean, I feel like James Gunn did a pretty good job of representing it on the big screen. Even Zack Snyder, like even if you made that version similar to Zack Snyder, like the one thing you can't say about the Zack Snyder Man of Steel is that the fight scenes were boring. Like they were well done. There was drama. Like they were real animated, and it didn't feel like Superman was just an unbeatable god until Justice League.
Well, I've told you the story before about when I saw Justice League. I got to see like an early showing of it, and it was very clearly a room full of like monster DC nerds.
Yeah.
And like everything that happened, like people were like standing up and cheering and everything. It's kind of like the Jurassic World showing I just went to. Like it was very clearly Jurassic nerds. Like there were people dressed up as like guides from Jurassic Park and like with puppets and everything, and it was just fine. That's cool. I don't care. I'm all about that. I love that for them. But like when I saw Justice League, like I could have easily walked out of there like completely overhyped because of how wild everybody in the audience was for every little thing, so it's definitely interesting, and honestly I feel like when I saw Superman, like it was a packed audience, the whole place was sold out, and I there's a lot of cheering, rightfully so.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't actually have a packed audience. I saw the first showing of the 3D version, so it wasn't that many people there. I did have a seat, someone near me who brought a Superman action figure, so they were definitely the audience. So it wasn't that many people because that's how I prefer it most of the time. But it did get a round of applause at the end.
I did go by at the concession stand after the movie. They had a very overpriced little crypto plushie. I did go buy that for my wife. So
worth it. Crypto was so good.
Yeah. Yeah,
I saw a lot of complaints about crypto, like ahead of the movie, and it's like you get there, it's like I don't understand what the big issue was. Like I get it. I guess if you're mad about the joke at the end, that's essentially Hulk and Loki, but
I think it was some of it was the equivalent of like race swapping. It's not. I don't think it was the right dog. You know what I mean? I think crypto is traditionally portrayed as like more of like a white lab or something, but this is kind of like a little scruffy little thing, which I didn't really think it was enough of a.
I thought it worked.
Yeah, I didn't think about it at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't. I never cared at all about the read. I thought as soon as the first time I saw crypto, I was all in. I was like, yep.
Yeah, like I've seen people complain, like, if Superman can't control his dog, how can he control the Justice League and stuff? And it's like, I mean, let me come drop a poorly trained pit bull off at your house and see how well you do with that, bro. Like, it's not his dog. Like, he can't control the dog.
I mean, I've had Wilson as my fifth boxer. Okay, I know how boxers work. I know like their energy. I know what they do, and I'm having a hard time with him whenever my brother comes over or whenever somebody comes in. Like he's jumping up on them because he's so excited, and we're having a hard time training that out of him. So like I'm a seasoned veteran on getting boxers to like behave, and even we're having trouble. So it's like it is what it is.
I think it's pretty obvious that the biggest critics of the James Gunn Superman were just doing it in bad faith.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the grifters who funny enough, it's actually hilarious now watching them flip flopping, trying to do the grifter pivot that they always. Yeah, the classic, for those who are hip to the game, the classic grifter pivot is when they call something woke and all in unison talk about how it's bad and you're going to hate it, and then soon as it launches and is extremely successful and well loved, they pivot and they do the grifter pivot where they say, actually, it's anti-woke, and it's like it went like I literally saw like some of the more popular grifters go from Superman, like unironically calling it super shit and saying, "Oh, this is the worst superhero movie ever. It's the death of DC." To I saw a thumbnail title the other day that said that had instead of photoshopping Superman with cross-eyed, it was James Gunn's head over Superman's body saying Superman saves superhero movies. James Gunn's like, I'm like, bro.
Like, I did see one tweet that I loved. It was somebody that did the super shit hashtag with a monkey, and like,
I saw Mighty Keep did that.
That's who it was, yeah. And like people were like going off on him, and then he had to like quote tweet it, and like some people haven't seen the movie, so yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, I thought as soon as I saw it,
I was genius.
I thought it was hilarious.
As soon as I saw it, I was mad at myself for not thinking of that.
Yeah, that was perfect. That was yeah. Anyone who saw it knew who actually saw the movie. that was funny. I'm sure I knew he was going to get hate for it, but yeah, it was crazy. Like you basically had the grifters who locked onto the movie because of the immigrant comment. Apparently, they found out for the first time that Superman is not born in America. Like he's an alien. They didn't know he was an immigrant. It's crazy. And then you had the Snyder cult, who are determined to hate anything DC related until they rehire Zack Snyder.
Yeah, I didn't see, like, for the immigrant part, like I didn't really get that they pushed that too hard. So like I keep seeing people complain about it, and I'm like, what?
Because they're stupid and they right. and they hate immigrants. Like as soon as they heard that, they immediately assumed it was going to be like this preachy thing about trying to have these like heavy-handed storylines about immigration or anything like that. And I felt like it was just a pretty obvious statement to me. Like, yeah, Superman obviously is an immigrant story. He's from literally another world.
I mean, the irony is that you could actually make the argument that part of the movie was about colonialism.
It was more so about like the main one of the main plot points was like kind of a stand-in for like Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, and the Superman immigration bit came up a bit only because like we know that one of the main reasons Lex Luthor hates Superman, apart from jealousy, is the fact that he doesn't like the idea of an alien being the savior of humanity, because he's the savior of humanity. He's Lex fucking Luthor. How dare some alien come to Earth, and throw his weight around without checks and balances like he's a god. That was Lex Luthor's whole spiel, and why he thought he was dangerous, and obviously we see, there is even though Superman does all this good, we see how easy it is to turn the public against you, especially for someone who is foreign, who is Syrian other, because even though he's been saving all these people for 3 years, they don't know a lot about him, because he's fairly private and he's literally from another world, and that does come up. But it's not like, but that's like every Superman story. Like it's like it's so obvious. Like it was so funny that it became like such a talking point, because I'm like, wow, rent must really be due if you're having a meltdown over the fact that Superman is an immigrant story.
Yeah, and I saw one like review came up in my feed, and I went to comment, and then I said, I don't fucking care about this guy, so whatever. But like one of the points he was making is like, oh, so 3 years of Superman saving the world, and all it takes is one news report, and they all turn on him, and it's like, yeah, have you seen social media? That is exactly how it works in 2025. Like, yeah, it is literally that easy.
Yes,
you can make one mistake and be done for forever.
Yes, it literally happened to James Gunn.
Like,
yeah.
Like, what are we talking? Like, what are we talking about? People are stupid, and they're very easy to manipulate, especially in the social media era. Yeah, like, and in context, yeah, it makes sense. Superman is basically a god from another planet, and then they see something that makes them question whether or not he's actually there for their benefit. And yeah, it's natural that some of them would 100% turn their back on him, even because that's how people are.
But I appreciate the reaction that the Justice Gang had to that, and Lois, because you gave him some grace with it to give you some answers, because like we don't definitively know, but we didn't definitively just assume that whatever the narrative was, that's what it is. Let's take a step, let's take a beat, figure this out, because we do know you, we have worked with you, but you tell us in your own words what's going on. And I feel like that was a fair shake versus the public reaction and stuff, which was of course calculated.
Yeah, I think I do understand how there are people that can watch the movie and be taken aback by the style of, like, it's like, all right, issue number 15 of Superman's out today, let's pick it up and we're gonna read it. You know what I mean? That's basically what the movie felt like.
Yeah.
There was no like definitive start and no definitive like end. It was very open all the way through. I feel like, sure, there's an end to it, but like you feel like you're ready for issue 16. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait for next month's issue. And that's, I think my biggest fear is I saw that James Gunn wants to do something where there's 2 movies, 2 shows, and 1 animated thing a year, and I just feel like there should be more. I feel like you can get away with more. I don't think we've had this conversation with the MCU. I don't think we need less of it. I think we need better of it. We don't need people like James Gunn read the books. He understood, like he understood who these characters were. We just need more people that aren't signing up because it's the bougie thing to do. Oh, I'll do a Marvel movie and I'm gonna make it my own. Or, oh, I can finally do Star Wars and I'm gonna make Luke Skywalker one of the most, seminal characters of all time. I'm just gonna make him a miserly old bastard who hates everybody. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like with the issue of cranking out more, you put him in position to be in the same spot as Kevin Feige, where there are so many projects and so much going on, you don't have time to actually have any real oversight or approval. And when you get the trusting, the creative team behind certain projects like Daredevil Born Again, once you actually get a chance to see what's actually being cooked, it's like, oh hell no, we gotta stop that. We gotta fix this.
I'll take it a step further. Okay. Everybody was shitting on Ironheart from the moment it was announced. Okay. That show was actually really good. And like, because it was super comic accurate, but like,
I'm glad actually it worked in his favor by not being comic accurate.
Yeah. I there are definitely like the Ironheart nerds that might have issue with, how they portrayed her and everything. They still portrayed her as a super genius and all that. But I also understand with Tony Stark being dead, you kind of can't do the same story. But like that show was done so well, and it's because a guy like Ryan Coogler understands these characters. And that's why the Black Panther stuff did so well, because he understood those characters. You just have to get the right people and have to make sure they understand. Like, there are some people that would tell the cast, no, I don't want to see any comic books on set at all. I don't remember who. I think that was like during the X-Men days.
Legitimately, Miss Marvel's actor was talking about it. Like, she had to I don't know, I forget which project it was, but she literally had to sneak comics on set because they were telling everyone no comics, but people would come to her along the line. They would come to her for lore questions. And I know specifically for WandaVision, one of the reasons that was so disappointing was that they specifically hired someone who knew nothing about House of M, who didn't read any of the comics, didn't know anything about the storylines, and they just completely ignore all the source material, just do your own interpretation of Scarlet Witch and everything like that. So yeah, and to be clear, I didn't think Ironheart was a good show. I thought it was better than I thought it was going to be. I still think it's like a bottom 3 D plus show, but it was still better than I thought it would be, and I definitely saw there was for sure potential there, and it could have been much better. Particularly, I thought it got much more interesting from the episode 3 on. Still, tons of problems, horrible writing, but I did see the potential in that, and it does show that you definitely want to have not just talented people. I think that's still very important.
Sure.
But you also want to have people who are passionate about that particular particular characters, that particular source material. And I think the reason why Superman resonated with so many people is that not only was it clearly made by someone who loves the comics, but it was made by someone who's just fucking good. Like, James Gunn's a really good writer. He's a really, they had a really good. It was well directed. It was, CGI was mostly good, but it was generally well directed. The writing was very well done. The casting was spot on, and they just did such a great job with the lore. And it kind of, I think it feels like for the first time in years, because even the MCU, the issue with the MCU is that even at its height, the MCU always kind of felt like it was a little too cool. Like, it felt like it was a little too cool for it always kind of gave the air of, well, we're adapting comics, but comics are kind of dumb, right? We gotta modern this up a little bit. We gotta splice it up. That's why we got all this nano suit bullshit, and while all the stuff, so much of the gear looks tactical, because you could tell it was made by a lot of people who kind of think comics are dumb, and and didn't want to fully embrace it because they thought, oh, no one wants to see these comics. It's a little too goofy. Like, let's not go there. And it's no coincidence that some of the best MCU projects are made by nerds who love comics.
Yep. That is the literal number one and only thing that Feige needs to do moving forward. You sign up for this project, you better understand the source material. Like, you're not coming into this to make a name for yourself using established characters. You're coming into this because you care about this project, and you're gonna make it a good project for us. Like, I think you can get away with doing only so much changes. You know what I mean? Like, I thought one thing that, and I want to bring up something too. You mentioned something to me before I decided to watch Ironheart. About how they didn't handle magic very much in the MCU, and I understood because you spoiled a character that was going to show up, but it's fine. But I didn't understand the candy shop until after I was done watching it. I didn't understand who she was, and now it makes more sense why you said that.
Yes.
And
I didn't spoil everything.
No, and I will say that character, now that we finally got him, phenomenal casting. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even think it is really a spoiler, because I think we all knew that
everybody knew Synchro was gonna be there.
Yeah, everybody knew that.
That's why I said
Baron Cohen was
cast. That's why I thought it wasn't really a spoiler, because I'm like, yo, obviously they.
I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah, Sacha Baron Cohen was cast. Obviously, he's Mephisto. Like,
yeah, and I thought, I mean, I've watched a lot of his stuff. I used to love Borat. Yeah. I used to love his like gay character Bruno.
Yeah.
He had a few characters. I love that. But that was a really serious and good role, and I want to see more of that. Like when she called him like Dormammu, and he just started laughing, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. So I hope he ties in with whatever they do next with Doctor Strange.
That's why I mentioned how it gets significantly better after episode 3.
Yeah,
because it becomes kind of a different show. it just becomes a show about magic.
I think I kind of liked the first 3 episodes more than you. I understood them. I went in with a negative attitude in general, which I feel like a lot of people did with Ironheart, because it did not make sense to do an Ironheart series. I'm sorry. She was not a great part of Wakanda Forever.
She was not.
I know that they're trying to set up the Young Avengers, and that's fine. But like,
I thought the first episodes were really bad, and I thought episode 3 was when it started getting good.
Yeah, but I also appreciated like I feel like you see her go through the coping mechanisms, and like there were layers to it, you know, and I appreciated those aspects of it.
My issue with her, particularly the first 2 episodes, my biggest issue with the writing, more so than anything else, about plot. You know, obviously the casting, I thought a lot of casting was just horrible, and you know, there was obviously plot issues, but my biggest thing is that I felt like they kind of dropped the ball with Riri Williams. I felt like they had the opportunity to give her a generally compelling character arc, but not only did they repeatedly portray her as an idiot, despite the fact that she's a genius, but the ending ruined her character arc. Like it felt like the whole thing was just a waste of time. And it was a build up to nowhere. Like they threw everything she learned, they just threw it out at the end because it felt like, you know, bless their hearts, oh, we're definitely getting a season 2, so let's have this big cliffhanger. I'm just like, come on guys, you knew you were getting a season 2.
I did like the Hood. I thought he did a pretty good job of.
I think he did a good job. I think the rest of the crew were terrible.
I could see why people would watch, and the rest of the crew, a lot of tokenization there.
I thought the Hood was solid. I thought Mephisto was great. I thought they definitely did Ironheart dirty. Ezekiel was interesting. They eventually made him more interesting, but yeah, it just felt like they just really dropped the ball with her, and it was just disappointing particularly with how it ended. I was like, this is just dumb. Like, it's just
I just did enjoy it like way more than I thought I would.
It was definitely way better than I thought it would be when I saw the first trailer, but I think that kind of made it more frustrating to me personally. Because especially since I'm more sensitive to it, because I hate that when Black characters finally get represented, it's usually in like the laziest possible interpretation, and especially in the case of Ironheart, because we literally had a blueprint within Marvel for how to do an Ironheart show.
Right.
It's fucking Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. It's actually one of the best Marvel shows Disney has put out since they had Disney Plus. It was a fantastic. It is also about a black girl genius in the Marvel universe, and they did that. I thought they did a phenomenal job with that series, and then to see them take a similar premise with Ironheart and just fuck it up that badly, it was just more frustrating for me because I was like, this show had so much more potential, and it just felt like if they just had a better writing team, Ironheart could have made a very strong case for being part of the MCU, despite basically wasting a slot in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, it was weird though too. Like a lot of people complain about Ironheart, and I really don't know why, because like they're the same people that like Rescue and that like War Machine and like others that have suits. Like why?
It's the characterization. Like Rhodey is a great character. Riri Williams is fucking irritating.
Yeah, but Rescue is just Pepper Potts, and like I only know from like her being in like multiple Lego games. Like people loved Rescue, and I never understood it because like she's not really represented very much in the comics, or she wore the suit like once, right? Like in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So like
it's just I think it's literally just a likability thing. Like, and that's why I thought the script let Riri down, because they had an opportunity to like put her in unique, interesting situations to grow for her to grow as a person and as a character, and they just didn't. They like when we introduced to her, you're like, oh, she's kind of a bad person, and then you can keep watching and you're like, oh, she's a really bad person, and then you're like, oh, she's coming around, and then it ends as like, oh no, she learned nothing.
So we're being told to shut the fuck up, okay? So ironically, I am covering casual with this comment.
The casual vendor actually watch Ironheart?
Not really, but I know everything that happened. So I watch, in-depth reviews and stuff like that. So.
How dare you not watch Ironheart, sir?
Here's the thing: when you have personalities like us, it's hard to get a word in edgewise sometimes.
If I'm not the expert on something, I'm cool with just hanging back. But I feel like this show, honestly, I get it. They had it in the immediate pipeline of shows to put out. Daredevil Born Again is like you managed to salvage, that project overall, but you can tell that was a bit of a mess in the kitchen, getting into production. And, Ironheart, I feel like just maybe if you push that back to next year or something like that, get another stronger project out there to build up more good faith that you're kind of turning the corner, coming off of Thunderbolts and things like that. Maybe it could have performed a little better, but from what I've seen, I feel like most people just didn't like Riri overall as a character, like her characterization in the show, and they're pretty high on the fact that we finally got Mephisto. I've seen mixed reviews on the Hood in the show. Again, it's like, honestly, it just felt like one of those shows that may not particularly be for me, which is why I didn't rush to watch it or anything like that.
Right.
But I'm honestly just kind of off of Disney Plus shows at this point too. So I really enjoyed Thunderbolts, but I was kind of okay on the Disney Plus side of things.
See, here's the thing though. I don't like you mentioned like how Thunderbolts went well and this. I actually don't think. I think they just dumped both of these out and were like, all right, here they are. We were doing it, and I don't think they expected Thunderbolts to. It actually didn't make as much money.
Yeah, it didn't perform well financially.
Yeah,
and I think they were expecting that, and I think they expected kind of the same for this. They're kind of like, all right, let's just get this done and over with. so that we can just move on to the next part. You know what I mean?
I would argue. I feel like coming on the heels of Brave New World, I feel like Thunderbolts kind of got shot in the foot. In addition to not really having any major marquee Avengers, like comic book fans were going to see it just because one, you're familiar with these characters from previous MCU entries, but you're also excited to see what they do with the Sentry. Once they made it clear that the Void and the Sentry was going to be a big part of the story, people were like, that put the asses in seats that were going to be there no matter what. But a lot of people were like, we just spent, especially if you go with a family or something like that, you're spending like $100+ going to see a movie at theater. So if you just put that kind of money into Brave New World and you're like, I hated that, or this was, that was not worth my money, you're not eager to turn around and do that again for Thunderbolts right after that. So I'll save my money for Fantastic Four. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, it's unfortunate because Thunderbolts was the first really good production they put out in a long time. Like you got actual score going on, you got actual writers and directors, great performances all throughout. So it's like, I mean, they can take it on the chin because they own everything. They're Disney, but you didn't do that project any favors coming on the heels of another cobbled together project like Brave New World and stuff. So Brave New World, Daredevil Born Again, I feel like those projects could have been a lot better if they were given the their due and put the actual time into scripting and production and getting things cohesive behind the scenes. You did the best you could just to get it out there because we had this thing slated. You don't want to treat it like you did the Inhumans or something like that. So it's like we got it manageable, but it's like, it's not going to perform great with you doing stuff like that. So obviously, I feel like Thunderbolts at the very least built up enough goodwill for people going into the Fantastic Four. Like, okay, we got another solid production coming out. Thunderbolts was good. It just wasn't a big enough sale for people who wasted money on Brave New World. And now I feel like Fantastic Four is going to perform a lot better, just off the name and the fact that, again, you got really good reviews for Thunderbolts ahead of this.
And the tickets are already some are extremely high already for pre-sales for Fantastic Four. So I already know that was going to be good. But actually, James Gunn actually had the same issue with Guardians 3 because before Guardians 3, we had Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which momentum matters with these superhero movies, and you went from Ant-Man 3, it was like you already had some disappointment. You had Thor: Love and Thunder, and you had Wakanda Forever. You go into Ant-Man 3, which was was ass, and it affected Guardians 3. Like those first weekend numbers were low for Guardians 3 because of how bad the other MCU movies were leading into Guardians 3. Even though James Gunn himself had a great track record with the Guardians movies, people were like, is Marvel over? But Guardians 3 ended up being so good that all that positive momentum, all that positive word of mouth carried it over. So instead of having a huge drop off, it just kind of sustained until it eventually hit like that 800 million sweet spot. So momentum definitely matters, and I think for sure Brave New World did not do Thunderbolts any favors. It did feel like they wanted Thunderbolts to be a little bit better because that was one of the projects like Daredevil where they behind the scenes shook some stuff up. They took a look at the original script for Thunderbolts. It was like absolutely the fuck not, and hired a new writer. I believe the writer they hired did Beef on Netflix, which was really fucking good. And we saw a similar issue with Daredevil Born Again. They watched those first 4 episodes, was like, oh fuck this. No,
brought in the writers from Loki.
Save it. please save this. This is ass when I put this out. Unfortunately, Ironheart didn't get the same treatment. They were just like, no, we just gotta throw this out.
I would say I would say 2 things. So first, if I was a part of the creative process behind the scenes for Marvel, I think one small tweak would have helped Thunderbolts perform a lot better overall, and that would have been swapping out Taskmaster for Baron Zemo. If you put Zemo in that cast, I feel like it performs a lot better because, again, people are still really high off that character coming off Falcon and the Winter Soldier. People who know him from the comics, he is a member of the Thunderbolts and things. So it's like, and obviously he's not going to get killed off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. So, just narratively and structurally, I feel like he would have gave that movie a bigger boost than, because that's comparable to having Bucky and Sentry in the movie, in addition to Yelena and all of that. And the second point I would make is I feel like you need more people in the review space that have, outside of the grifters, because the grifters are just dominating, the talking space at this point because they're so loud. But if you have more balanced opinions coming in, so people like Jay who, hey, I wasn't too high on this project, I didn't have a ton of expectations, but you won me over with your writing and characterization and story, and you threw in a bonus twist at the end that I didn't see coming. So I can give a grounded, positive review of this project that, again, I didn't go in sold on. And so that you're more familiar with what this character is supposed to be. You have a different perspective on what it's supposed to be. But again, I can say positives about it while also giving a fair critique that isn't based in woke, bad black people project. You get what I'm saying? Nonsense like that. So it's like, I feel like Disney needs to kind of get more balanced reviewers in their spaces, give more people a chance who are, just down to earth people. So you're not swinging people on either side of the spectrum, just giving your projects a fair shake. Let's highlight people like that, uplift, get that in front of more eyes outside of people like Nerdrotic and stuff like that, just dominating the space ahead of its release by the second it's mentioned, this is woke. They got this, they got that, they got this, and that's all that dominates the conversation. And then on top of that, you got production issues being, promoted in the news and stuff. So it's like, get more of a handle on stuff like that. And I feel like these projects can perform a lot better because, like, even with Doomsday being around the corner, that just feels desperate because you clearly haven't been building up to that. Like, everything you were building up to was centered around Kang, and that died immediately. So it's like, this is clearly a Hail Mary to kind of salvage what's left of, goodwill for the MCU. But it's like, if you don't land this, where does that leave your business going forward? Because that's going to be a major blow. If Doomsday underperforms in any capacity, that's not great for the overall future for the MCU. So I feel like these next few projects definitely have to hit, with Fantastic Four being our next big, window into that. But
I'm honestly not worried because they've lined. I feel like they've lined up the projects in a way where it would be pretty hard for them to fail. Like at this point, like the Russo brothers would have to like just completely fuck everything, because you're going to have Fantastic Four, which is already, based on tickets, going to be a hit. It's going to be successful. I think it's going to be very well received. Then you're going to have a new Spider-Man movie. We already confirmed Punisher is going to be in it. Like all the MCU Spider-Man movies have been good so far. Spider-Man is huge. He's a huge character. You're going to get people there regardless because it's Spider-Man. But also, you have the added bonus of all the previous Spider-Man movies in the MCU being really good. So I think that's going to be just a no-brainer hit, and that'll give them momentum going into Doomsday, which I think is kind of just hard to fuck up because it's just two giant nostalgia bait movies full of all your favorite people. I think there's just no possible way they fuck that up.
Yeah. So to answer the question about Red Hulk being in Thunderbolts, there have been quite a few different like groups of the Thunderbolts. But like the original version, Baron Zemo was known as Citizen V. So he's like fooling everybody into thinking he was, a good guy. So the Red Hulk version was kind of like, I would say, like last 10 years. He was the leader of that group, but he just basically recruited a lot of people with red. There's like Elektra, Punisher with a red Punisher logo, Deadpool and one or two other people.
Yeah.
Was it Venom on there at one point? Matt Gargan. I may be misremembering that. I can't remember.
Pretty sure Green Goblin was a member too.
That was Norman Osborn had his Thunderbolts. That was like that he ran, but he wasn't. It wasn't that one.
I just have to say, I think it's safe to say that they could have definitely had, if they wanted to do a Thunderbolts.
It was movie, Agent Venom.
If they wanted to do a Thunderbolts movie, there are much more interesting characters they could have used. Because one of my critiques about it from the first announcement was that it just looked like Black Widow too. I was just like, with the casting, and I was like, oh great, a movie. A pseudo sequel to a movie that I already thought was ass.
I didn't like the way that they before literally from day one they turned it into New Avengers. Like it was Thunderbolts all along, and then all of a sudden it was just New Avengers.
I haven't heard Thor getting written. I know there was rumors based on some cryptic comments Hemsworth made where it felt like he was saying goodbye, and it's very possible they kill him off in one of these upcoming Avengers movies. I just think they're going to be it's very clear that they're going to just do a hard reset after Secret Wars.
Yeah,
they're going to recast a lot of characters, and they're going to be focusing the next phases going forward on the X-Men more so than anything. So I don't think Thor will be gone forever from the MCU, but it does seem like they're doing a hard reset after Secret Wars is over.
As far as the comics go, though, I would say there is a moment in one of the comic books that shows the end of time, and it's just Thor and Wolverine with the Phoenix Force, which is what inspired the Phoenix Force Wolverine costume in Marvel Rivals Season 3. That seems like a pretty good segue. I'm pretty good.
Oh yeah, it was not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, Thor is definitely alive and well. I wouldn't say well. He's actually dog shit after all the changes they made. But I saw Lejeune.
Listen, some of us took that personally. Okay.
I did see Lejeune playing with him. He was raging most of the time, but he did because he was getting cooked so bad. But when I did pop it, he had a really good game, and he was like extremely hyped. But yeah,
I've been asked this season. I don't know what's going on.
No one would have accused Jay of being a top 100 player before, but he definitely.
I'm still usually pretty competent, but man, he
had to shake off the rust a little bit.
Yeah, this last month I have not played a lot. Like I've played just enough to get by.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bit of a learning curve. Plus, it's an entirely new meta. So a character that you may have been good with or may have been good before, not necessarily great. At the start of a new season.
I'm glad somebody else said it because I'm just having trouble with her. Like I feel like her shots should be going different. And I watched Sadot play her really well. And I feel like I'm doing these things, but I'm just not doing the right damage. Yeah, and I don't know what's going on with it. I was just having a bad run.
Skill issue.
Clearly.
I had to adjust with Phoenix, one thing I did do is I had to fine tune the crosshair a bit. I had a default crosshair. I tried a couple different ones. I ended up using, because she's similar, I ended up using the same crosshair I used with Hela, except I just altered it a little bit. I had a lot more success with that custom crosshair. But in general, with Phoenix, I think the key is that you just kind of have to hit your shots and have good target priority and positioning. I think that's what's important, because she's really strong. She has a lot of potential. I think her primary fire combined with her passive is really strong. It could put a lot of pressure on the enemy team if you're doing it right. But she does take a little bit more technical know-how because she is basically a Hela, but with AoE. So so positioning and off angling is very, very important with this character, as is obviously actually landing shots. So anyone who's like generally struggles with hit scan or struggles to land shots, you're gonna have a bad time with Phoenix, especially if your positioning sucks. But if you're someone who's kind of experienced, I think she's a lot of fun. Obviously, her ult is fucking insane. So
I think if you're struggling with Phoenix, you probably should just become a Punisher, man.
Yeah, much easier to play.
Yeah, I finally started playing Punisher because I keep getting all these 6 skins for him, and he can be very much easy mode for sure. But like, I don't know. There was, I think I was having an off day in general. Ricardo can still go fuck himself. It was just wild to me. It's like I'm literally playing this character for the second time, and it's like, oh, you suck. Oh, yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm literally, the character's been out for an hour. Like people talk about how that community can be toxic, and
extremely.
And I don't think I ever really saw it as much until that day, because it's like, this character's literally been out for an hour, okay? Like, give me a minute to figure it out, okay? I got that minute and still didn't, but seriously, like, just to go for the throat, because, like, in my second time ever using her, I'm not, like, fucking Sadot the gamer,
It was, it was, unfortunately, if one of your complaints of Rivals going into season 3 was the community, it's still ass. I was like, everything you hate about it is still there. I had a game the other day where I just just to be a nice guy, I loaded up support and also to farm a little bit, and of course the first game I get on support, I'm immediately playing an entire dive comp team.
Yeah.
and I'm getting dove, not just one, like I'm getting dove by Thor, Black Panther, and Spider-Man at the same time. No one's turning around, no one's peeling, and I have a Phoenix player who's sitting there bitching about not getting healed. I'm like, brother, turn around. So out of spite, I switched to Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah,
and carried the game because on Mr. Fantastic, so 2 other people swapped who weren't doing anything, who weren't doing well on DPS, swapped the healer, and I actually protected them, and surprise, we won.
Have you actually been playing Marvel Rivals casual?
No, I haven't played since season 1, I want to say.
Just wanted to make sure we got your input, but we would love to talk about that.
Unfortunately, I was watching Superman while that was happening.
Did you not watch it yet?
I watched it. I watched most of it after the fact. So yeah, I was talking about it the last time I streamed, but I was unfortunately unable to watch it live, which I would have loved to do. But Sony wanted to announce the date like at the literal last minute.
Why do they do that? I don't understand. They do that all the time.
Yeah, I would have loved a week, like a week in advance to just tell us when the damn thing is.
Yeah, I mean, I was always gonna love it. We still got Jin Sakai back there. You're gonna appreciate this story. There's some people I met at PAX East last year. I was supposed to do an interview with what game was it?
I already hate the story.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space with their
people.
I remember.
I remember. Isn't that? Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah. So like while I was talking to the press person, this couple show up and their interview had got bumped, and I didn't really want to do an interview anyway. I just wanted to play the game.
Of course.
And I gave them the interview and sat in with them, and they really appreciate it. And I've watched their podcast since then, and I like them. They are very, very much an Xbox podcast. And they get a lot of people. They usually have like 200 people watching every show.
Pretty good.
I went in to their show because I was bored last night or the night before, or right after the Yotei State of Play. and they were like just dogging on it, saying it's just PS4 graphics, and I actually interjected. I'm like, no, Yotei is going to be peak, and then I said everything looks bad on Twitch, like it's just a shit like video codecs or whatever. But like, yeah, I don't understand how people are so down on this. Like, we would all love more Jin Sakai, sure, we love that character, but like, does anybody complain about Assassin's Creed when we get a new one every year?
Yes.
And it's a new segment, a new like a new protagonist, a new this. Like,
yes.
I mean, yes, they do complain every year for reasons, but like in general, like, okay, Origins came out and people love Bayek, and then Odyssey comes out and people love those two.
It's because it's because Assassin's Creed is an established franchise, and I think a lot of people had the expectation that the next Ghost of game was going to be a direct sequel to Ghost of Tsushima rather than like a more Assassin's Creed type of route where they just tell stories that take place in and around this era. You know, they didn't understand what the vision was for the project. They just love the first game, and obviously a lot of the criticism were, you know, coming from bigots who didn't even play the first game
and don't want a female. Anytime there's a female lead protagonist, it's like, can't do that. Why? Like I typically, if you are given a choice of like Mass Effect, okay, you can have a male or a female Shepard. I'm always going to pick male, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like I picked Cassandra, and that was a rare thing where I take the female character, and like there's no reason not to. In Shadows, I prefer playing as Nawe because I like her having the eagle vision and everything. But I love playing, you know, as Yasuke as well because he's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I prefer Yasuke because of just how insanely badass he is. If I need, especially if I need to clear something out quickly, I'll be like, okay, well, let's get this stealth bullshit out of here.
Yeah, yeah, but I just feel like, you know, okay, so you wanted it to always be a Jin Sakai story in the Ghost of series. That I loved it. I literally met Suji.
Yeah.
Daisuke Suji. I literally met him, had him sign my Funko Pop. Love the character, you know. Would love more Jin Sakai also. But I love the idea that we can just move around in different eras of feudal Japan and tell different stories during different, you know, periods. You know what I mean? Like, so Atsu should be a lot of fun, and I feel like her story is going to be a good one.
Yeah, everything I've seen, especially like I've definitely seen a considerable uptick in interest after the state of play. Just looking around, I saw the state of play had, you know, a fuck ton of views. I'm seeing a lot more positive sentiment because it kind of just confirmed what I already knew. Like, oh, it's going to be a great game. Like, it looks the visuals look much better than Ghost of Tsushima, and that was already one of the most beautiful games ever created. And you know, now they just added another, just a new but equally, even more so, arguably beautiful location with better graphics. It looks absolutely insane. The combat looks a lot of fun. What the fuck is casual cooking? Yeah, I love the lo-fi hip hop mode with the composer from Samurai Champloo. I thought that was like a really cool little feature that they added. Everything about that presentation I thought was fantastic and just confirmed what I already knew, which is that this is going to probably be my game of the year.
Yeah, I already have the collector's edition pre-ordered, I think.
Yeah, Gabe is all about the hot springs. Especially now. Now there's a lady, but I think the game is going to be great. I never cared that Jin wasn't the main character because I played Iki Island expansion. So
yeah, I have not played it because I forgot how to play the game, and I keep meaning to go back and do it, and I just don't. And it's a travesty. I know. I agree. Shame on me.
Shame.
Yeah. No, I deserve it. How old is Atsu supposed to be?
I think she's in her 20s.
I think she's portrayed as like in her 40s.
40s,
like as older as much. She seems to look much older.
It's a revenge story.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone looked older back then, but the revenge story. Yeah, she lost her family when she was a kid by those assassins.
32.
Yeah, and then she goes on like a journey and to get stronger until she get revenge. Yeah, she's definitely not like that old.
The only thing I can see as being kind of more of a coincidental thing is, it coming so close after Shadows, where you had Nawe there and now you have Atsu. Like, but at the same time, it really shouldn't matter. Like, a badass character is a badass character.
According to the wanted poster in the trailer, she's 28 to 29 years old.
Okay. I don't know why. There's one scene that I just felt like she looked like she was in her 40s. So, all right.
Yeah, she definitely looks old. She definitely looks older. I mean, obviously, when you're training for revenge, not a lot of time for skincare routines,
right.
But
or generally in that era,
or in the 1600s in general.
Yeah.
In general, yeah, not a lot of beauty products, back then that can preserve the only thing that can really preserve your youthful appearance back then is like magic, dark magic or something, or something like that. So everyone is probably younger than they first appear in that era. It was the same. It was kind of the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. Jin is a relatively young man. He definitely looks like a mature, very very much mature adult. So I wasn't too worried about it. Actually, how old was Jin? Jin. They got to give some canon ages. For Ghost of Tsushima, people think he's like even just looking around, people think he's anywhere between early 20s and early 30s.
Yeah,
no one could quite nail it down. So yeah, I think that's just a part of the authentic vibe they're going for with the series, where they're trying to tell like a more relatively grounded and authentic version of that period of Japanese history. So they're not making everyone look like fucking anime characters, and they keep the combat relatively grounded, which I appreciate. Like give them having a more relatively realistic, but still have some fantastical elements thrown in there. I love the tales of the yokai. I love the special little things you can unlock. I love the legends mode, that whole separate thing, exploring the myths. I hope they definitely looking forward to them bringing that back for Ghost of Yotei. I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great.
Looks like Randy Pitchford had a big tweet.
Oh God,
thread.
Not again.
No, it's good. It's good. I just happened to notice it because Andrew Reiner like quote tweeted it and was like, I urge you all to read this thread to get a behind the scenes look at the creation of a small but awesome exploration reward in Borderlands 4. So he's basically talking about they made the game so big that they set out to make it seamless, and they added all this different traversal and stuff like that. So
I think they mentioned like everything you can see on the horizon you can go to. Like it's one of those things. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really good.
I'm so excited, and not just because I have all the stuff they sent me.
Yeah. I mean, that's a nice bonus. Yeah, I mean, Rise of Hydra. Assume as long as the game isn't delayed again, where our Rise of Hydra gameplay trailer has to come out this year. Because they set the new timeline for release window of early 2026. So that's probably February. That's usually when a lot of games stack up in that February phase, especially when they're going for early. But it's particularly important because GTA is scheduled for May. So you definitely want to get on the early end of 2026 if you're planning on dropping. So yeah, assuming nothing's changed, Rise of Hydra has to start their marketing campaign in the next few months, and that probably means Gamescom, Open Night Live, definitely Game Awards. Maybe just some stuff independent from that stuff from any of those shows. Seems like Comic-Con's not going to have much this year. Didn't see anything yet from Marvel Games presentations. Marvel's MCU's doesn't have a presence there. DC isn't going to be there apart from some Peacemaker stuff.
Did you play Assassin's Creed 2?
I played 2, maybe. I don't remember it. I know I played the first. I know I played the first one.
All right. How about you definitely must have played remember the Riddler trophies?
Yeah, I fucking hate the Riddler.
Okay, so Pitchford's tweet, a lot of it was that there are 200 Marcus bobbleheads that you can collect throughout the world. So yeah,
Good luck.
I would love to say I'm going to make that video, but that's a lot of effort.
That seems like an extreme amount of effort.
Yeah, I like making videos like that on how to find things and everything. But
this there's always a tough question to answer because we know what the next DC game is, and we can't say what it is yet. So apart from but I mean, there's not that much cooking at DC, so it's kind of just easy to look and see what they're planning. Apart from the thing that we're not allowed to say, I mean, the only other DC games in development openly are that we know about is Wolf Among Us 2, which was supposed to come out last year and keeps getting delayed. So that's the more imminent of their slate. When we're still
they just released that new mobile game.
Yeah, they released a new mobile game, which I haven't heard great things about so far, but it's a mobile game, so whatever. And of course, we know that Rocksteady is working on a new Batman game. NetherRealm is working on another game, which
we assume is Injustice.
Seems to be Injustice 3. But
we assume that, but that to be clear, that is not what we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about something.
We don't know that.
Yeah, we're talking about something else. I'm assuming it's Injustice 3. All the clues lead to it being Injustice 3. But yeah, in terms of most imminent release, I mean, Wolf Among Us 2 could release this year, could release next year. We have literally no idea what the fuck is going on with that game. But it was probably the most ready of the DC games.
Yeah. But let me just tell you, there's gonna be a lot of pressure off my back when I can finally.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, I've known a long time.
Yeah, Jay's been sitting on this one for a while, but I'm looking forward to the future, especially after now that we've seen Superman's doing so well. I definitely hope we get an announcement of a Superman game being in the works finally, because James Gunn did mention part of the whole thing was I covered this on the channel. They did the whole restructuring at WB around the games division. They have the CEO of NetherRealm currently in charge of Mortal Kombat and DC video games. James Gunn's also been consulting and having conversations with a lot of these different people to try to facilitate more DC games, including DCU games. He mentioned specifically he talked with Rocksteady, he talked with NetherRealm as well. So there is for sure a bigger emphasis at Warner Brothers right now on getting more DC games out there. So at some point, yeah, we're going to start seeing the floodgates kind of open with that stuff, especially if DCU keeps getting their momentum.
So, do you think we'll potentially see DC's Marvel's Avengers?
I mean,
I would hope so.
I wouldn't put it past them. I did see something about them being open to making their own version of Rivals, but I think that they're going to, for now, probably focus more on single player DC games, just to play it safe, especially after what happened with Suicide Squad.
I would rather see them do their own version of either Marvel Heroes or Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, I think that would be better. Yeah, because there's definitely I think there's definitely a big market for a good superhero MMO. I think if you do it well, it would pop way the fuck off.
We are actually getting it's not video game, but there is a DC Marvel
Batman and
crossover
Deadpool.
happening.
And Deadpool. Yeah, Batman and Deadpool.
Yeah, here it is. Right. I actually went and pre-ordered. They changed this. What do I have to hit present?
Yeah, it should be the same thing. Basically, it just looks a little different. Yeah, very cool cover.
Yeah, so there are 17 variant covers. I went and pre-ordered all of them.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
Watch it.
Listen, we're gonna tell our grandchildren about this someday.
Jay is single-handedly keeping DC afloat
Yeah.
right now with the comic division.
Well, one of the covers is going to be Jeff with Crypto.
I'll probably get that one, and I'll probably get that first cover they showed, and I'll definitely probably maybe grab the Jeff one.
I think there's another one with Green Arrow and Hawkeye, maybe. So yeah,
I mean they're both billionaires, but that's obviously not where they were going. The reason why you do a pairing, because it's basically it's a buddy cop. It's a buddy cop story, and when you do a buddy cop story, the way they work is you have to have like opposites. You have to have a balance. That's where the interest, that's where the humor.
I just want to see Deadpool talk to the Joker. I just want to see I want to see the Joker and Deadpool go at it, because I just think the potential there could be just amazing. I've never thought about it until they announced this, and now I've never wanted anything more.
Yeah, exactly. Having Iron Man is like, okay, he's Batman, but he's in an iron suit. Like there's nothing inherently more interesting about that dynamic. But yeah, Deadpool injecting him in the DC and particularly in Batman's universe. Now we're talking, because he's such a crazy character, and there's a lot more potential for interesting interactions.
So the question is, will Batman kill Deadpool? Will Deadpool make him break his rule?
I definitely wouldn't rule that out.
Well, Batman doesn't kill, so
I mean,
they can let Alfred do it. Alfred got the shotgun. Sometimes he kick you till his shoe explodes. So
most times Batman doesn't kill.
More than likely, the first time that Batman realizes that Deadpool can't die, he'll just start battering him in the face every time he can, just to get him to shut up.
Or using him as bait, or setting a trap, taking advantage of his immortality.
Yeah,
I mean, they can let Damian kill him if they want.
Yeah, because it's not really killing if he technically can't die.
Right.
Yeah.
You're just injuring him you're just temporarily injuring him before he and Batman obviously has no problem injuring people very badly.
I'm pretty sure Deadpool gonna call that out.
Yeah, I don't kill. I'll put you in a coma by punching you in the face repeatedly, but we draw the line at killing.
They got to start sharing the crossovers, though, man. They give Batman all the cool crossovers. He got the Ninja Turtles. It's like now you got Deadpool. Like,
yeah.
I think they are going to do like another crossover at some point because like DC is going to be putting some out as well.
Yeah. I think I imagine that there's like a lot of bureaucracy that gets in the way of a lot of us having more crossovers because they're technically competitors. But yeah, I would definitely would be interested in more comic crossovers. Obviously, video game crossovers are kind of just out of the question. Like no one is going to make that work. but this would be I think it's going to be a cool comic run. Hawkeye and Green Arrow together. I think Alien just has a thing for guys in tight uniforms who shoot arrows. I think that's just her kink. she's just into it. She just can't. There's something about it. Just a weak point for her. Imagine.
Yes, I do.
You and Jeff DeLange. Sure. I am glad that we're getting more Jeff. I remember the guy. I think the guy that runs Marvel Animation mentioned that they were already in the process of figuring out a way to incorporate Jeff DeLange into the MCU. So the Jeff is coming.
These are some of the newer covers. Like that's a classic kind of throwback one.
To the Wolverine. Yeah.
And then that one just looks awesome. I mean, you got a very classic Joker. And then this is by Scotty Young. This is one of my favorite artists. I love Scotty Young.
I also love the Batman suit. I hope this is the one. I hope this is the design they use for Brave and the Bold.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw something about the Jeff and Crypto.
Just love that classic gray blue Batman. I just love that fit.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. There was a My Hero Academia and Deadpool crossover.
I don't know anything about that.
First I heard about it. First I heard about it. I had no idea.
Oh, here it is. Perfect. Hold on. So I hadn't seen this yet. That's pretty sick. But it's Daredevil
and Green Arrow.
Jeff and Crypto. And look at that. Look at all the toys.
And the food.
And then there was that. I think
that's fire. Yeah, that's fire.
So Daredevil and Green Arrow is a pretty cool, interesting team up as well.
That's a dope team up.
That's it. I'd definitely watch that show.
Yeah.
When's the release?
It is September.
All right.
I don't have the exact date.
Then that's where I think that's when the Demon Slayer movie comes out too.
September 17th.
Yeah. Out now though is the Marvel swimsuit special. Came out, first issue came out on the 9th and is tied in with Marvel Rivals. They're actually this week they're having the Marvel Rivals swimsuit event introducing some new outfits. That's going to be fun to tie in with the comic. Trying to get the people to come back another week, not just try out the new hero bounce.
Hold on. I actually have one question. So the week 1 challenges, did we only have like 2 days to finish those? Because it says I did them all, but I do not remember finishing them all.
Yeah. They restructured them about a lot of the stuff. So you have so you don't have dailies anymore. Then you have your weeklies, which for me I had another set that I did today, and then you have the event which is separated by days, and then you have the currency that rewards you points towards the accessories, but that has a 700 point cap per week. So you can only get so if you want to buy one of the accessories, you have to come back the next week and grind out another 700 in order to just buy one. So if you want to get all the accessories, you're going to have to keep coming back.
You can spend money on it, but
yeah.
I don't know if I like some of those changes.
Yeah, I do. One thing I definitely like is the reusable, the recyclable missions. They give you one for basically every class, whether you're a Vanguard healer or DPS main. If you just every time you hit, I think it's around 100,000 or more of that threshold, then you get like 300 chrono tokens. So I like that they gave you more incentive to keep playing the game and reward you and let you get through the battle pass and just earn some stuff, because it felt like you come on, you do your dailies or whatever, and then you just bounce because there's, if you're not into anything else, because there's not really reason to keep playing, but now, like, if you want to have a marathon session, that you're going to be rewarded for it with chrono tokens. So I think it's a really cool change. I don't know about the limit. I understand why they put a cap on it, but I think on the limit on the accessory thing, but I feel like 700 is kind of silly, but I understand they want to make sure people if they're not going to do a shortcut with money, or they're just going to come back. But I feel like 700 is a little much.
Yeah,
not enough, especially since you have to play with. They force you to play with other people. You can't do practice with AI to farm them like you can do all the other missions. So you're forced to interact with the humans of this community, and man, it's not fun.
yeah. I played a little bit yesterday just to kill some time, and I was getting stuck with like just some terrible people, just like awful. And
yeah, if you're not playing with a stack of friends, like, queuing up in rivals is still an absolutely miserable experience.
And it's funny because like it feels like everybody is always asking for PvE in like a lot of games, and no one ever wants to listen, and then they're surprised when shit gets shut down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like this is in the case of rivals, you're really not going to get much pushback, because a large portion of the fan base are superhero fans. They're coming from superhero, and most of the games they're coming from are PvE. Mm-hmm. So, and even the sweaty competitive people who grind it have a lot of issues with the ranked and matchmaking experience, and I feel like they would definitely also welcome at least a change of pace. Like, those people are still going to always grind, probably, but that's why I think adding another rank mode is interesting. Something to shake things up. I hope it's something legitimately to shake things up. But yeah, add something else so that the people who want to play ranked can have some variety, and maybe also try to add some changes to improve the rank experience for those people. And also add more game modes for people who don't want to do PvP all the time, and want to do something else, especially with these Marvel characters. I think a PvE story would be great. I was even though it's still PvP, like, I love the auto chess mode. that was my new thing. Like, I was an auto chess. I was a Marvel. I was an Ultron Battle Matrix player that I was ready to never look back on PvP. Like, I ended up top 100. I think I ended up actually finishing top 30. I love that mode. I hope they bring it back and have more stuff like it, because I think they have a lot of potential with those extra game modes. They just have to hit on the right ones.
I just feel like for PvE, you can literally just do like you're doing versus AI, but you know when you do like a custom match, right? You can just be you with 5 AI teammates against 6 AI enemies. Like honestly, if they just did that and maybe the like progression is nerfed a little bit more because you're not playing against people, like I think a lot of people would be pretty satisfied with just that, knowing that they can. Cause sure, you can still do it, but it doesn't count for anything. And I mean, I don't know. When given the opportunity, I would rather like a Battlefield 2042. You can do that. You can set up private matches where you're just going with you have AI teammates and all AI enemies, and it counts towards your progression on everything. And
Yeah,
it actually counts like normal.
yeah, I think
So,
I think that would be a welcome change as well, because I know they want to encourage people to play, but I mean it's obvious, like the more people are forced to play together, the less inclined they are to play the game in general, because this community is extremely terrible.
right. There was even that like incentive program they had for creators where it's like, oh, stream for at least 2 hours and feature the Phoenix the whole time. And it's like, oh man, I wish I saw that in time so you could say bye.
All right, Casual, appreciate you.
We appreciate Casual dropping by, but like they do realize that like it's not easy to like get the new character on release day, right?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
that's
they didn't. I mean, I didn't think that was. I didn't think that incentive was fine. Because they even offered alternative ideas, like you can do cosplay, but it's just the idea was that at some point you would just play with the Phoenix character, or showcase the Phoenix character.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
Which anyone can do. Like you play with other people. Eventually, you're going to be able to lock her in, especially if you're playing with people, then you can like stack it so that you can. Obviously, you can do match. It's much easier if you do practice AI, and like as the day went on, it was easier and easier, because I didn't start streaming until afternoon. So by the time I got on, it was actually a lot easier to pick Gene, especially in competitive. So it was I thought that was fine. I just think that in general the game could use a little bit more variety for people who want to do different things. You have the people who don't mind the PvP, who will suffer through it, but you have people who are like kind of like just over it and sometimes and just want to break, or just want to have something else to do other than this kind of the same objectives on the same maps. Like they definitely need a little bit to shake things up, and more so than just adding a new character. So that's why I'm very curious what that 3.5 update is going to look like.
Yeah, I think an easy way to do a PvE mode is you've got all of this lore for the game, and it's all like reading. Okay, like basically you're just gonna have like a story mode that is playing the maps, but like you're getting a narration of the story behind what's going on in the background as you play it. You know what I mean? Like, and you do that PvE.
You could Fortnite it. You can have us fighting, like you can, like for the season 1 lore, for example, you can have us fighting Dracula's minions, and eventually confront him in the castle as a final boss fight. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to have like graphics around it. I mean, because I understand like there's a lot more to it, but like I do feel like, I feel like that's something that should have been there, that they could do.
They very much have the infrastructure where they can do like kind of how the Fortnite does their boss battles. They could do like a MOBA thing, because they've been taking a lot from other games where they're experimenting with these modes, like Splatoon, and now in TFT. They can absolutely do like a deadlock type of mode. They have the infrastructure. They can do an Ultimate Alliance type of thing. There's a lot of potential with these extra game modes. So I'm very curious which one they settle on.
Yeah, it would certainly be interesting if if Marvel Rivals just became like this catch-all game where there's just all these different modes, kind of like if you load up Assassin's Creed, right? It's got all the games right there, like you can scroll up to which era you're trying to play, and theoretically, if you have all those games installed, it's like a hub. But you could like build in all these character models into a Ultimate Alliance style game and have it the same way. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, Fortnite, like literally, you load up Fortnite and you got these different game modes you can jump into. You now have like private maps. People can customize their own experiences, and you can join them in. They have different, there's all these different modes. Like there's a lot of potential there. I think they showed it. I think more so for me with the auto chess mode, the potential of them giving people legitimate game mode options to load up, as opposed to like the usual offerings, because the devs very clearly are talented, multi-talented, like being able to have all this interesting stuff, and the way they design the game with the combat, the 3D, the third person, they have a lot of different options, like clearly they have a lot of money to back in it. So I definitely could see them being able to go in a lot of different directions. I guess it's just a matter of figuring out which ones they definitely seem to be testing and see which sticks and what's not. I think the auto chess should definitely come back. I think that should be a staple mode, and I would love to see their take on like a MOBA, on like a Deadlock style game, MOBA mode, and like an Ultimate Alliance type of thing, and eventually experiment with like kind of like a custom, more of like a custom experience. But yeah, for sure, I think priority should be like actual story mode, and like a MOBA type mode, and bringing back auto chess. I think those would be huge for the game.
I forgot tonight was WWE's women's all women pay-per-view.
Bigot.
We just had a cash in new world champion.
One Punch Man again. Never opposed to more One Punch Man. Developers need to listen. Yeah, I think in general the developers have done a really good job of responding to a lot of community feedback, giving the players a lot of cool stuff. There's definitely issues for sure. People will have like I feel like the balancing this time around wasn't enough, but they did have some really cool changes, like specifically for the Thing. I thought the Thing changes this season were really good, but would have loved to see more interesting changes for more heroes. But we have a new update dropping next month, so that's going to be big for them. That I think that'll give us a better idea of what their plans are long term for the game with that 3.5 update. So we'll keep an eye on it. But I think it's our time. We had Casual Avenger dip out. Now it's time to move it on. We got to talk about everything we needed to, and I got some anime to watch, and eventually, and I do have a game that I have to review.
Oh,
so got to get on that eventually.
I don't know how to describe it or you'll understand it, but this is actually pretty interesting. All right, I'm gonna spoil it for everybody. I know everybody cares.
Spoil
our new world champion, Naomi.
Oh, that was perfectly fine. That's spoil. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, look at the first response.
Not the flight.
Help.
Not the flight, right? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she seems lovely. I have no idea who that is.
So remember I'm thinking about it now because remember the girl that we showed you that we thought should be Storm?
Yeah.
Like the girl that just won the title and her are like bitter rivals right now.
So I don't know. So I don't support this at all. Then
no, you do not.
No.
But Muscle Mommy is definitely gonna take the title from her because she just won a title shot. So
well, I'll tap in when she does. That's what I'm rooting for. But appreciate everyone as usual. Thank you, Alien, for gracing us with your presence. Making me feel like the Avengers days having Alien and Casual and and the whole crew here. We even had Hoarder stopping by. It's always a good time. Miss those Avengers days. Well, we got to reunite for Avengers 2 Electric Boogaloo.
For sure.
All right. Appreciate you all. We'll see you next week for, I guess we'll be reviewing the Marvel Rivals swimsuit event. whatever else happens. Hopefully it's not a YouTube apocalypse, which is people are afraid of happening on the 15th. But we'll cross that bridge when we go to it. I'm Snot the Gamer.
I am not Casual Avenger.
Thank God he was here. Zip it up and zip it out. Peace, all my nations.